On today's Home Media Minefield, I'm going to be looking at the Blu-ray of Godzilla coming up. Hello, I'm Keith and welcome to Home Media Minefield, helping you with information to navigate the complexities of home cinema and home media entertainment. And with Godzilla vs. Kong about to hit streaming and select theatres when they're open, I thought it was a good time now to look at the 2014 film directed by Gareth Edwards. Now this film has just also been released on 4K UHD. I don't actually have that to review. I've only got the Blu-ray, but I've done some research into the 4K release as well in order to give you some information on that too today. Now onto the film itself. I bought this when it was packaged here in the UK in a slipcase along with Kong Skull Island, the follow-up film to this in the Monsters universe. Next week I will be doing a review of the Blu-ray release for Kong Skull Island, but for today I'm going to focus purely on Godzilla. Now, from the research I've done, the versions of Godzilla on Blu-ray, regardless of where you buy it, specifications wise are effectively the same. The Blu-ray contains everything that was on the special edition DVD version that also came out at the same time. And there have been different packaging options, steelbooks, various artwork, and a Target exclusive in the US, which featured a bonus featurette, which I'll come on to. But essentially, this is the standard edition Blu-ray, which is available globally. Okay, so first up onto the picture quality, and this film is a 1080p HD transfer in its original aspect ratio of 239:1. Now the film was shot digitally, and obviously a lot of the film featured, of course, impressive visual effects, and the digital intermediate was a 2K master, which has been used to produce the Blu-ray disc that we have here. Now, one of the things that's noticeable about this film, and I even thought this when I saw it at the cinemas, is the fact that some of the scenes are quite dark. A lot of the film takes place at night, and being dark, it is sometimes hard to see some of those wonderful visual effects that they spent forever producing for this movie. Now, even though the picture quality on the Blu-ray is sharp, overall it's quite dark, and there is also a 3D edition available as well, which includes another disc, and obviously the 3D version is even darker because of the way that technology works. Now, from all the research I've done, from what I've heard, the 4K UHD is a great upgrade to this. It's not so much noticeable in terms of the higher resolution, but the high dynamic range on it and the contrast ratios are vastly improved. Plus the overall picture has been lightened slightly compared to its Blu-ray counterpart. Now, I've read this on numerous reviews from different sources, so I gather that this must be true. So from everything I hear in that case, I would say that if you could stretch to the extra money of buying the 4K UHD edition, it would be worth it, even if you don't have the 4K equipment at present, because these discs are still being shipped with the identical Blu-ray copy with it as well. So you'll be getting everything that I cover today, but you'll also be future-proofed with the better 4K disc. Certainly if I didn't already own this and was about to buy it, that's what I would do. But it is fair also to say that you can pick up the Blu-ray versions fairly cheap these days as well. More on this later. Now on to the audio, and again on the Blu-ray copy there is a 7.1 DTS soundtrack. which again is a very impressive soundtrack. Lots of separation, lots of low-end bass, and great clarity on all of the dialogue. However, on the 4K UHD version, they have also upgraded the audio to a Dolby Atmos mix. Now, this was the mix that it was released in many theatres using. And again, from everything I've read, it is a noticeable upgrade to the audio on the Blu-ray disc. So even if you don't have a Dolby Atmos system currently, again, there's a level of future-proofing here if you buy the 4K UHD. Now, something that is worth noting is the disc defaults to the 7.1 audio unless you select the Dolby Atmos. So if you have that equipment and you're using the 4K, you need to go into the menu to select that. That's something else that I found out in all of the reviews that I've read. But again, the audio on the Blu-ray, the 7.1, is still an excellent audio soundtrack. Now on to the special features, and this is where this is a little bit disappointing because you get less than an hour in total of bonus features. And it's the same if you buy the 4K UHD. There's nothing new on that in terms of special features. It's the same as the regular Blu-ray edition, and in fact that Blu-ray comes packaged with it, and that's where the special features live. Sadly, no commentaries or no in-depth documentaries on this. Special features are broken into two sections: Monarch Declassified and the legendary Godzilla. Now, the Monarch Declassified featurettes are designed to kind of work as in-universe and expand slightly on the mythology created in these films. The first one is a 2.5-minute featurette called Operation Lucky Dragon, and is presented as a short vintage film that covers the origins of the Monarch group and one of their earlier encounters with the Godzilla creature. Next, you get a 5-minute piece called The Muto File, and this again looks at the fictional history of the Muto dating back to the 1940s through to present day. Again, this is another one of those in-universe featurettes. And then you get an 8-minute TV documentary called The Godzilla Revelation. And this is a fictional documentary that shows the events of the film, but from an outside perspective. Again, it's a little bit of a promotional tie-in piece, but it is quite nicely put together. You then come on to the behind-the-scenes featurettes, starting with a 20-minute piece called Godzilla, A Force of Nature. And this features interviews with the cast and crew, and they look back at the origins of Godzilla in the history of cinema entertainment, how the visual effects were created on some of the earlier films, and how they modernized this and brought it into a more realistic setting and used modern CG visual effects to create the creature and update the design whilst remaining a homage to the original. It's quite a decent behind the scenes documentary. I just wish it could be a bit longer. Next up is A Whole New Level of Destruction, which is a 9-minute featurette which looks at some of the practical locations that they used and how they blended that with the digital effects to create Godzilla in a realistic environment. Again, a short featurette, but quite interesting. Next up is Into the Void, The Halo Jump, which is a 5-minute featurette looking at that particular action sequence and how it was achieved. Again, it talks about the practical versus the digital and how the sound design played an important element in this also. Again, good but short. And finally, Ancient Enemy, The Mutos. This is a 7-minute featurette which looks at the Mutos' role in the film, the design elements, both from a physical and an audible point of view. And sadly, that rounds out the special features. As I said, in most regions there is also a 2-disc edition available, which includes the 3D version of the film if you've got the equipment in order to be able to play that. And the US Target exclusive did include an additional 30-minute featurette called Godzilla, the Rebirth of an Icon. Now sadly the version I have doesn't include this, so I'm not able to comment on that additional featurette, but I always prefer to have more special features than less. So again, if you're able to get a hold of that and you're able to play that back, that might be worth the investment. If you want my honest opinion though, as I said earlier, if I hadn't already got this, I'm personally not worried about 3D, so I would buy the 4K UHD version to have the better picture and better audio, but also to include the Blu-ray disc with the special features as well. I'll put some links down below of the various options that you can get at different price points. And if you use that to purchase through one of my affiliate links, you do actually help this channel to grow without any additional cost to you. So it's much appreciated if you do use that. So anyway, on to the scoring and the conclusion here, and this is for the Blu-ray. For the picture, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. It's not a bad picture, but as I said, it is a little bit dark. And also from all the research I've done, I know that the 4K version in this instance is a definite improvement and upgrade. For the sound, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. The 7.1 DTS audio track on this disc is excellent. However, again, if you can stretch to the 4K UHD, you'll be getting that improved Dolby Atmos track. And for the special features, I can only really give this a 2.5 out of 5. What is there, both behind the scenes and in universe, is quite well done and quite interesting, but it's just not enough. It adds up to, I think, about 45 minutes of content in total. For a film like this, I would expect a more in-depth documentary about the making of, plus a commentary from the filmmaker would be extremely welcome as well. So that gives a total score of 9.5 out of a possible 15. As I've stated a couple of times already, if you can stretch to around £20 UK, I guess $20 US, maybe $25 for the 4K UHD version, which is available everywhere, I think it's worth the extra money. However, if you can pick this particular Blu-ray up for a reasonable price, then that's fine too. So as I mentioned, next week I'm going to delve into Kong Skull Island and talk about the various releases of that. But that brings me to the end of another home media minefield. If you did find this helpful in any way, then please do give this video a thumbs up and hit that like button, hit the bell icon so that you don't miss anything moving forward, and please consider subscribing to the channel. I post videos weekly, product unboxings, reviews like this, plus there is other content which I'll put links below as to where you can find. But if you've got any comments or any feedback or any questions, then please do also put that in the section below. But for now, I thank you for your time, and I will speak to you at the next Home Media Minefield. Bye for now.